upgrades.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back for yet again another episode discussion. This is a brand new show coming from Disney Plus, and that is Echo. So Echo is probably one of the most violent Disney Plus shows you're going to see, but maybe it's actually one of the better ones. We got a full plate today as far as our complete hosts, and I'm going to just kind of bring them all on at the same time. Vanessa, Jorge, Ronan, Aunt Gold, what's going on, everybody?
What up?
Hello. This was good.
You let me out for 2024.
Anywho,
Oh, no.
so a lot of you guys, I'm not sure if everybody saw Hawkeye, but the character Maya / Echo showed up in Hawkeye, and we got the understanding that she wanted retribution because a person named Ronan, which we find out is Hawkeye, was a person that killed her dad, and Wilson Fisk kind of tasked her of like, I'll give you all the support and everything. Come to find out, there's more that meets the eye, of course, because Wilson Fisk is involved. So in this, we're getting a full introduction to who Maya is, like who her family is, her heritage, and even some more interesting things about kind of her indigenous culture, which I thought was really interesting because we just got to looking at a show called True Detective that kind of went into some of those realms, which we'll kind of unpack a little bit briefly. But as far as some of you guys' first impression, did you guys want to see Echo at all before you saw the first trailer? Or was it after you saw the first trailer, you're like, I'll give it a chance? What were you guys unanimously like thinking about it? I'll go across the board.
Trailer. So
you just went in blind.
I just went in completely blind. I think that's my new thing for 2024. No, I went in blind, but so far from the first episode, I mean, it's dope. So I'm happy I jumped on board and saw it.
Yeah, and Vanessa, you didn't see Hawkeye, so did you see the first trailer? What enticed you to want to see this?
I didn't even know the show existed until you were like, "Hey, you want to watch Echo?" I was like, "What?" I was like, "Sure." I stopped paying attention to Marvel stuff. I don't know, some point around Moon Knight. So I'm hit or miss on some stuff. So I don't know what's going on. But the first episode was awesome. I was like, this is giving me Netflix Daredevil vibes. So I'm like feeling it. I like it because that's one of my faves. That's easily one of the best superhero shows. So yeah,
Easily.
Yeah. Ronan, Aunt Gold, what were you guys' impressions? Did you see the trailer? I know both of you guys did see Hawkeye. I'm not sure your feelings on Hawkeye, but was it the trailer that enticed you to want to go and check this out, or was it just like, we'll see?
Yeah, for me it was. I had gone to a point where I'm not yelling superhero fatigue here and there, but I was just like, okay, I feel like the company should have taken a break after Endgame, and maybe I should have taken a break after Endgame to just let that stuff just ease off instead of just keep going after it show, movie. But the trailer was a big pull, and kudos to whoever made that first teaser because that hooked me because I was just like, should I even consider doing a review or a reaction to this series or whatnot? Which is unfair for the character and the actors in there, but I'm like, it's just timing. Timing either works for you or not, and yet this time, and we'll talk about the length of this episode, it worked for me.
Yeah. What about you, Ant?
So I did see Hawkeye. I never need to see it again, like most Disney Plus shows. And I did not care about this character at all. In fact, I forgot this was even coming out. But the thing that got me, I didn't see a trailer. The thing that got me wasn't Daredevil because I saw what they did with him and She-Hulk. What got me was they were going to release them all at once, so I didn't have to waste a bunch of time and like, oh, where's this going? And I could put it on in the background and do some notes while I was watching that. So that marketing worked. I know it seems like they didn't care, so they just threw them all out at the same time, but that was the only way I was going to watch this or invest any time.
Yeah, I mean, my confession is that I did watch Hawkeye. I was let down by Hawkeye among some other Disney Plus shows, but I thought what made me enticed by this was the MA rating that viewer discretion advised. And so when, me and Ant, we both collectively looked at Moon Knight thinking that Moon Knight was going to be that gritty Marvel Knights, like blood fest, and it was not. Unfortunately, it was a lot of failed attempts, minus a 5th episode. But with this, when I saw the trailer, I was like, oh wow, this is really gritty, and it kind of gave me those camera angles that reminded me of Daredevil, and then also seeing everything on the backfield with it. But Marvel wasn't kind of pressed with this. This was its own subset that may connect or interconnect with what they did for the Netflix Daredevil series, which I thought was intriguing. That was the thing that kind of enticed me for this. But little did I know, the first shot of this completely took me out, because me and Vanessa were like, wait, are we still looking at True Detective? What the freak is going on? She is here. She's underneath. Anybody that see the show, y'all know the reference. But the first thing you see is the spiral, and you kind of see like people are look like they're underground, and there's this whirlpool that you don't know what's really going on, but it looks like indigenous people, but then their skin complexion is just completely off, and they got things that are kind of absorbed into their skin, and there's spirals on their hands, and then all of a sudden like things start shaking and rambling, and then they literally fall through the earth, and they come back to earth with like a little sparrow there, and then as it starts to kind of peel off their skin, you find out like these are indigenous people, these are Native Americans. And so what were you guys' impressions of that? Because that kind of took me out. I was like, what is going on? I had no idea what was going on, but I was fascinated because we just came from True Detective. Vanessa, I'll let you go first, and then Jorge and you guys after that.
It looked like they were like clay people, and they were like, it was like coming off of them. I liked it. I don't know. I was like, ooh, this is a little nudity, and on Disney. Every time I say it, Sam was laughing because I was like, on Disney Plus, Disney Plus. Like I wasn't expecting just right out the gate. Like I was like, it's a hint of a little boobage. I was like, oh, there was like, it was really pretty. Yeah, it was really pretty. The boobs were pretty.
Man, let her go.
Yes, agreed. But yes, no, I liked it. I thought it was, and I actually recognized the actress. I thought she was going to be the main person. I don't know who. I think she was like an ancestor or whatever. I liked it. I don't know what's going on, especially coming off of True Detective. I'm not going to say anything because at this point it would be a major spoiler. But there's a lot of similarities, and I don't know why that there's like an influx of indigenous focused shows. But that's cool. I mean, I liked it.
Yeah, it works. Jorge, what about you?
Yeah, no, it was dope. But I think what I got from the intro was even from the get-go, like the sound in this show is so unique. And the way that they use sound. And that's what I I got from it. But yeah, no, I think the whole MA thing, a lot of shows like throw that on and I'm just like, great, they're just gonna drop like an F-bomb like once or twice and call it a day. But this one, like even the fight scenes and all that were exquisite. Like I love the way, I think Vanessa, you said it best, where this gave you a lot of like Daredevil vibes from Netflix, which it does, because that was, I think, and you guys are a lot better at this than I am. I think that was the first like R-rated superhero, like kind of cartoons, or not cartoon, but like live action that actually did it well.
It's up there, yeah.
Yeah, where it worked. And I think what's nice is it almost seems like Disney actually saw what worked and is trying to incorporate that finally into it. And I think they just needed to find a character to be able to, for better cartoon, just be that gritty, and pull off some of those fight scenes. And yeah, I think so far, I mean, from the beginning, it was cool. Those people, those indigenous people, it did wig me out just watching it, just because it was very different. But no, I'm all for it.
Yeah. And Ronan, what do you guys take on that?
It gave me a little tiny bit of vibes of that Watchmen episode where it goes black and white and color and whatnot, and you're dealing with the past, the present, and whatnot. And then we saw a little preview that hints at that vibe. I'm like, I like that vibe. I like that use of photography and whatnot. Haven't seen all of What If season 2, but I feel like there's a connection in one of those episodes that I thought was hinting at the beginning. I'm like, damn, I should finish What If season 2 and get into that, see where's the connection and whatnot. But yes, I understand there's been a lot of moving forward with Native American stories and the violence that surrounds the areas and how much that connects way back to how the country was found and whatnot, like stuff like Wind River. I love that movie, and yet it's interesting that they're still going down that route, but now we're doing it in a universe that's very optimistic and very fantastical, and yet it's bringing it down to the streets, like what Daredevil's Netflix show did. And yeah, I'm not one. I'm not those. I'm not one of those people who like I need everything. Like it's like screw the youngest thing. No, but there should be a balance because much like the kids now, I've aged with this company, with this studio, and its movies and shows. So I'm like, how much do you need me to stay as a kid? How much stuff connects me now as an adult? So
yeah. No, I agree. Real quick, Ant, what was your final thoughts on what you saw?
My final thoughts. No. So, so first, until you saw that image, I think I did see the trailer because when Kingpin is knocking the guy, I was like, oh, that's the Kingpin I like. So that did get me excited about that. Second thing, I did think that the same thought about the what if they introduced a new superhero, Native American. I was like, oh, are they connecting her to this character here? And then they let you know that this is MA because when that actor came out and she was kicked in the mud, had to enlarge my screen real quick just to make sure I wasn't having anything cropped out. and it was great. So yeah, but that threw me off. I was like, where is this going? So yeah, I liked it. I like and then I'm wondering who directed this because it felt like Daredevil. It felt like Daredevil had a thing that was more visceral in their fighting. Like that first hallway scene, he's getting tired, the guys are getting tired. Anybody that's fought, like fighting for 3 minutes is a hard thing to do, especially if you're not trained, you don't train for this. So to see a superhero actually, I think Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was on at the same time as the first season of Daredevil. And while I liked some of the things going on there was a big difference between that type of fighting and then just Daredevil like whacking somebody. I knew it was coming in that fight scene too. So it was just kinetic. It was fun to watch. There were certain things I could watch that scene over again and probably pick out things I didn't notice the first time. And I love that about good choreography. Yeah, that one. And yeah, like they've never done a better hallway scene than that because you felt the physical exertion and well, that prison one was really good too. But they felt that the physical exertion of the superhero. He wasn't some invulnerable guy with unlimited stamina. Every punch had weight and you're taking damage with the punches. So yeah, I really appreciate about that. And she does such a great job at selling the punches, the way she hits. And also there's a big complaint about seeing someone that's really, anybody see Rebel Moon, the main actress, love her look, but she looks like she hasn't lifted a weight a day in her life or even helped with the groceries. So when she punches big, like 6'2", 200-pound guys, you're like, I don't feel the impact. This actress, I don't know her name, but Echo, she's throwing punches. She's throwing punches how they should connect. She's using things around her. She's using her legs, which are, I don't know. It was just very, very good. And that was concise.
Yeah. Her name is it's good. It's good.
Okay.
Her name is Alakwa Cox. And
well done.
Yeah, we did find that she is an amputee. She is deaf. She is actually Hawkeye was her first role, and this is her
really.
Yeah.
So she is very talented.
I wonder if she's used to. Oh, sorry.
From a physicality standpoint, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I just wonder if her having to express with her body, most of the time of her life, whether that helped her like get into the acting of this. I don't know, because I really enjoyed her in this episode.
Yeah. But moving forward into this, so they kind of go and move into who Maya's family is. You meet her grandfather, her grandmother, her mother, and her dad. And as you can see in the background, her cousin, who she calls her sister, Bonnie, they've got like such a tight bond. And they were kind of going over the first indigenous people that kind of showed up. That was what the story was being told. Now, my thought initially was like, is this Inhumans rated? Is this a connection to What If? Is this mutant related? I didn't know. But it looks like this is going to tie into something more later on. So we'll see where it kind of goes from there. But in this specific sequence, they kind of go through the family dynamics. And so it seems like her mother is also deaf. And the grandmother also knows sign, of course, the grandfather. And so they all are a good functioning family. But something happens very quickly when they're about to leave. And it looks like the mother was trying to drive and the brakes went out, and very quickly she lost control of the vehicle and she crashed. Now, this is where it gets into MA, because the first thing you see is this long shard of glass / metal sticking out of Maya's leg, and it's almost looked like it's severed. And then the next scene, we see her kind of waking up, seeing her mother, half her face is mangled, and she knows for a fact her mother is not conscious. She doesn't know she's dead yet, because then we go and transition to, it's a great transition from pacing standpoint. They go to show Maya in the hospital, and her grandmother is so elated. She's so upset with Maya's dad because you brought this on us. And he basically quickly says, like, look, I took care of them. She's like, you got more blood on somebody else's family's hands. And he's in pain. Like, he lost the love of his life, and his daughter is, she's lost her leg. And so he blames himself, but at the same time, they want to kick them away. So going into that very quickly, it shifts to them having to leave to go to New York. And one of the most heartbreaking scenes to me was seeing Bonnie and Maya have to separate. So just kind of giving you guys a little bit of time to process that. How do you guys kind of take the accident, the family dynamics, and then the family transition to tragedy? It's such a more adult thing that normally Disney Plus doesn't go down that route.
It sucks seeing family separated. At least for me, I know when I left LA the first time, it was just like, damn, I'm not gonna be the same anymore. Every Sunday meeting up with family, or every day passing by grandma's house. So it sucks when it happens, and it's harder to like experience when you see kids go through that. So, and again, usually it's just the adults looking, and then they go away in the car and they transition quick to another setting. And the fact that they stayed on the kids, it's you don't see that often. So I appreciate that.
I was gonna say, especially when you see Bonnie kind of like pushing away from her grandmother, running towards the car. That was one of those like choke up moments where you're like, no, it's okay. But no, I think that was done real well. And I think it's kind of nice how in the hospital, when the grandmother was, for better lack of terms, like berating, like her dad, like, you Lopez boys are terrible and blah, blah, blah. It just kind of gives you that outlook of like, in a sense, like she did marry like a bad, like, like a bad guy per se, like one of the bad boys and all that. Like he already has his background and his past. So I think that was interesting because you didn't even need like his whole backstory. Like it just sprinkled it in there, and you can just tell like they're already infamous in their town for who they are and who they like hang out with. But no, I agree. I think like that whole sequence was very much non-Disney, like not what you would expect. Like seeing a little girl get hurt like that, the big old crash, like that was very well done.
Yeah, coming in blind. Yeah, I was gonna say coming in blind, like I had no idea who any of these people are. So they did a really good job building the family dynamics within like 5 seconds. I was like, okay, I see how it is. I get it. Mom doesn't approve of the dad. I understand that. Like it was really, they built the dynamics pretty quickly, and seeing the kids like separated broke my heart. But the stakes were set pretty quickly, so I was like, all right, cool. She's got a heart filled with vengeance, lost her parent. I know where this goes, so it's good to set the scene and make me kind of figure out where we're going from there.
Yeah.
Y'all know me. I don't really care for all that feeling stuff. I don't really put stock in that. No, I can't picture my little girl running after that car, and I was like, no. So I thought that was really good. It was kind of a cheap shot, but it worked. It was an effective shot. I also like the dynamic of already having her family kind of in the underworld already, because that's really fertile ground, and maybe they protect that territory. And I have a feeling that maybe, historically, a lot of organizations that don't really follow the law were there to keep other organizations out or keep other things out. So I wonder if they're going to go that route. But that's really fertile ground. Reminded me a lot of Banshee, like vibes of that. So I really enjoy that. But can I tell you how tough that little girl was and carrying that little girl was? Because if I had lost my leg after already being down, I'm gonna do a Zuko. Like, what else you gonna do? You never held back before. like, and she was like, "What about mom?" And blaming this. Didn't even cry. I would be focused on my leg. And so, and I like that also because a lot of times the more empathic someone is, the more hard they'll seem because they, it's a double-edged sword and they're easily, more hurt and betrayed. So she's coming off to keep people away to protect herself a lot. And I like that. Even the family members that she cared to and she went to get help when she was wounded. So I like that layers of the character. But god dang that. And then when she started blaming herself and her father signed no, and will she be okay? And I hope they did film the scene of when he told her, because like I was more scared of that than the actual scene, the car crash. I don't know how to explain it, or even because I think her mom looked at her mom looked at her because she was so used to seeing her sign, and that's when she got hit. So I wonder if that comes up again. Anyway, it's just fertile ground for storytelling.
Yeah. And it's always a treat to see Graham Greene in a show or a movie. When I'm like, I was glad he's part of this show. And I don't know if this is a quick remark, but like I liked how the Lopez's are the criminals of their town. I liked how a character that pops up later in Daredevil, how even in his show it was always like the Murdochs have the devils in them. So I like that parallel between Maya and Matt.
Yeah. No, all good topics, because the next thing is the transition going to New York. And so it's interesting watching, kind of seeing her and Bonnie kind of doing, the little thing in the dark with the light. And now her dad's trying to be that for her. And it means more, because when they did it in Hawkeye, I was like, oh, that's a touching moment. But like, no, he's doing that because she needs to feel that. She needs to feel that connected with something. And so then they kind of transitioned to kind of her and doing martial arts, and he kind of letting her know you need to be allowed to be able to work in two different worlds. So like it just gives more context from when they kind of shoehorned it into Hawkeye to like now it's like it builds it all out. So the rest of the kind of progression of this, if you've already seen Hawkeye, you don't have to watch any more of her story. I mean, certain context with her relationship with Fisk, I think, are left in Hawkeye that you can kind of go back to and see if you want to. But the rest of it kind of goes from the moment that you see her in the dojo, shows her kind of in a little MMA ring and just kind of like seeing a person's weakness really quickly, to kind of her like just kind of coming into her own. But she goes and sees and witnesses her dad getting murdered by Ronin. Now, the interesting thing, the difference with this is that there's a lot more blood this time. We're seeing Ronin just cut through people and blood splattering everywhere. And she witnesses her dad like there, and she's like, you need to leave. And from there, she's hurt. She's in pain, and she just wants to hurt things. And so she goes to the motorcycle place because she just wants the motorcycle to go and try to steal it. She gets caught, but she has absolutely no fear. And it goes back to what Ant said. She's disassociated those kind of emotions to try to focus in on one thing at a time. And it's really fascinating because when they kind of show that moment, like I think you said it, when it comes to sound, Jorge, they immediately kind of zero into what she kind of hears and perceives, and she just kind of rims it up. And they do this great shot of seeing the motorcycle flying out, hitting the police car, and they're like, "Are you crazy?" And then, of course, Papa, Uncle,
Big Daddy Fisk
comes on the scene, and like the cops are like, "Hey, what you doing?" He's like, "Hey, you know who this man is? Like, back away." And so he kind of goes and gets her, and immediately kind of progresses her to, I can go and show you a better way. I can kind of take your anger and your function. Like, I know this kind of pain because I lost my dad. We know how he lost his dad. But of course, he's a master manipulator. He uses people to get what he wants to what he needs. And he immediately kind of thrusts her into the business, so to speak. So before I kind of progress through that, how did you guys think kind of how they handled like the sound aspect of that specific motorcycle scene, and also Fisk kind of being introduced into this series?
Yeah, that I didn't watch Hawkeye. I don't know anything about this, so it was good to like get that like quick. Oh, vengeance! Like it was cool. I love the sound usage, the way the motorcycle crashed through the glass. It's all dope. Wilson Fisk, the dude that plays him, Vincent, whatever the Italian, very Italian word. That dude is born to play Wilson Fisk. Born to play him. Like there's some people who are just born to play a character. He was born to play him. He looks like him. He's soon as I saw that white suit, I was like, ooh, I just know I'm gonna get. I don't care if the entire show is bad. I know he's gonna give me something good. So I get excited.
Yeah, I'll say the one thing that, other than the sound, that motorcycle scene when the motorcycle broke through the glass. Did anyone else get like Matrix vibes when Trinity was like on the bike, like jumping through the building? Like when I saw that, just the way that they kind of like twisted the angle of like the actual shot, like I loved it. That I think was probably one of the coolest shots that they did that didn't involve any fighting or anything like that. Just a random object. But yeah, no, I think in this scene, just like you said earlier, Sam, like the sound, the way that they did it was so neat, because usually whenever you see any type of cop scene, it's just so loud.
Yeah.
And all you always like put your hands up, brother, and it was just quiet. Like it was like this eerie quietness. You just see the lights, which I appreciate how much they emphasize like the red and blues. But yeah, no, that scene was dope for sure.
Yeah, and it's interesting because they kind of show like her heartbeat, like like her heart was beating, and she kind of, and they do that later on in the next thing we're about to talk about. But I love how they kind of progress, how she assesses everything. But yeah, what were you gonna say, real quick, Ant?
So I like the attention-seeking behavior she was doing. Like she didn't wear a mask. She knew he was going to come and get her out. Anytime a cop says, move along, and you move, and the cop moves, because Fist didn't break stride. He kept going straight to it. And like, you have to control your anger, which was really like interesting to see from their side. But I get what I really like about her. I'm getting Cassandra Cain vibes from her. I don't know if anybody read a lot of Cassandra Cain comics. Like I love Cassandra. That's my favorite Mack girl. And I got a lot of Cassandra Cain from her. And I'm really loving it. So yeah, but the sinister manipulation of Wilson Fisk, and even I think from his standpoint, he is showing care. He is showing love. He's manipulating because that's what he learns to do. But like you said, he brings anything he's in, he does well. Anything that guy does is well. I think I just recently saw him in Harlem. Wars for this girl. Doesn't matter.
Godfather,
anyway,
Godfather, yeah.
But yeah, and this is the Fisk I wanted to see. This I don't know. I'm excited.
Yeah,
the rest of the show could be bad, but if he's here, I'm here for those episodes.
Yeah, and so the next step of this is crazy because she kind of gets the job. She's kind of working with two of Fisk's men, and they kind of are not really communicating with her. They're like, "Look, hey, we're going there and we're gonna tune these people up. They owe Fisk money, and we're gonna take care of it." And then the guy kind of security kind of fills her up, and she puts him in his place really quickly. But then this is where they dial up that MA rating, because the first thing that happens, they kind of go in, it's like, hey, you guys do. And then the guy that's the security guard in there pops somebody in the head to the side very quickly. Blood splatters immediately. And then they go in I don't know who keeps saying it. Like, it does feel like somebody from the Daredevil series directed this, at least from the choreography and the scene design, because they go into this dope shootout to the point that one of the guys breaks through the freaking door and goes ham in there, and they're like, they're doing good at first, and then all of a sudden they kind of getting their butts handed to them, and she kind of gets pinned down, and her heart starts beating again. I think I love it doing the subtitles, because the subtitles has two different hearts beating at the same time, and she kind of gets the person in the arm bar. She kind of has his head locked in, and she's kind of like in the zone, and then she starts to really truly let it all out. And she snaps his neck and starts to go in, and she gives them the freaking business, especially that guy in security, because she wailed his head up against that freaking cabinet. It was like metal cabinet. His head like went and caved into the cabinet. But the surprise is freaking another Cox comes in, and I'm talking about Charlie Cox comes back and freaking Daredevil.
Sam, this MA rating.
Charlie Cox is here, and like, it's crazy because like he's starting to go wailing on them, and then kind of comes at her, and then they kind of get into their first altercation. So I'm gonna let you guys kind of talk, like, just having the way they set her up and setting the stage for what she's capable of, to then transition to showing a power set. Like, we know what Daredevil's capable of, and bringing him into her first interaction. Kind of, how did you guys feel about that epic moment? I'll let you guys go.
Since the teaser, I've been waiting for this, and that sucks to say because you want to also be intrigued with the main character, which I was. That first half, boom, got me in. I'm like, all right, I'm with Maya and her journey. But then the minute I saw where we were, I was like, he's in a show. He's in a show. Holy fuck, he's in a show. And I love that he got there and was just like, damn it, now I gotta clean up after y'all because I've been watching these folks for a day now, and I love that he didn't hold back on her because he's an observer and knows that okay, she's good hand to hand. I can't give her an inch of space. If not, she'll go. And then just the transition to where the guns were being holed up, and if somebody who was involved in this show, or at least this first episode, was not involved with Daredevil, then they did a phenomenal job with research to get similar vibes to it from a photography point of view, from just the stunt point of view, and it's good to feel this vibe again. I haven't felt it since Netflix days and whatnot.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Oops, sorry.
No,
My bad.
No,
Just really quick. I think Sam. I think I told this to Sam. Oh, it's going on.
No.
But I like this is the part where inclusion gets to be interesting because you get a fight between a person who is blind and a person who is deaf, and the stuff like we wouldn't get before because people didn't think, because people who don't think, people don't have those disabilities don't think like that and don't know how to fight like that and don't know how to write those scenes and know how to do those things. So it's really cool. We're at the point in media where this is like this is now a thing that's going, and it's cool to witness. It was one of the coolest fight scenes because I just have never seen one quite like that, and I love seeing Daredevil. He's dope. But yeah, that's just my I love it. Yeah.
Nah, it was freaking insane. And what were you gonna say, man?
So I like that this just threw her into a mass murder, her first mission. but then once she was kind of startled by it, kind of focused on the guy, and once you pop, you can't stop. So she's winning, blunt, just tearing people up. When Daredevil came in, it looked like it was a reference to a comic book where Wolverine went into a mob front and started killing people, and then they show Punisher was waiting in the back, waiting across the street. It was like, that was a waste of my day. I've been watching them for all day to go in there. So I don't know if that was a reference, but it reminded me a lot of that. And I like that they showed her skill without trying to nerf what level Daredevil should be at. And I thought that was great. He didn't have an easy time with her, but especially she did one thing where she held her leg and she held the foot and then let it go. Yes. That was so nice. Man. I really need to know who did this choreography. It was great. I don't know what to say. Like, I would watch that fight scene. A lot of times I'll judge shows, but I'll take a part of it and watch it again, where I looked it up on YouTube again. This fight I will actually look up on YouTube again to go forward.
Yeah.
On Disney Plus, not YouTube.
No comment. But no, it was insane because when she started picking up weapons and try to start using weapons as a defense, I thought that was so fascinating because then he was like, oh, I got to take her seriously now. And then instead of continuing to engage with her, he left. I thought that was even more interesting, the fact that he kind of just disappeared, but we'll kind of let that go. Moving from that point, she gets a taste of it and she goes back and Fist is like, oh, wow, you did better than any of my other men. Like, you should continue this. And she was like, oh, yeah, I enjoyed this immensely. Give me more. And so from that point, he kind of rolls her through the grinder. And then we kind of see certain sequences they use from Hawkeye as well, and her trying to find Ronin and stuff like that. And eventually they get to the point where she does have her fight with Ronin finally. And, of course, we find out Ronin is Hawkeye, and Hawkeye basically lets her know that, no, like, Fisk set your dad up. Like, this is all Fisk. And she couldn't believe it. But from that point, we know where this rabbit hole goes. We know she kind of has to go through the threads to find out all the truth in Hawkeye. If you want to see Hawkeye, you'll get all those threads from that. Down to the point where Fisk was kind of like cornered by the new Hawkeye, quote unquote, and he kind of ran away. Kate Bishop kind of had him running away. And then, of course, Maya found him And that is where we left off at Hawkeye, because she basically pointed a gun to his face and shot. And we didn't know what happened from there, because at that point, we go and transition to 5 months later. After the 5 months later period, she kind of is going back to Arkansas, trying to go back to her family. And we don't know why she's going there, because like, okay, if this is dead, then what are you doing? But she's got a bullet hole in her. So obviously she couldn't escape like what her actual fate was going to be. But just kind of giving you guys a little bit of time to kind of process that. Did you guys think that she officially killed Fist? Like, what did you guys think about how they transitioned from the fight scene to going and working with Fist to what we know at the end of Hawkeye? I mean, I'm pretty sure most of you guys are comic book fans, so you guys knew that Fist wasn't dead. But did any of you guys get thrown off? Vanessa, I know I threw you off because you were like, "Is Fist dead?" I'm gonna research it. Like I was like, "No, don't do it."
Yeah, you were like, "Don't you dare!" No, I literally I was like, "No, fuck, no. There's no way that he's dead. No." Like I was literally like, "He's back, woo!" And then he gets shot. I'm like, "What the hell?" All right, so I was mad about that, but whatever. It didn't stick. It's all. It's my only thought. Whatever.
Really
Keeping it short.
Really hard. I'm trying. Okay, blame. No, I'm not gonna say.
Wait, I've been short. I've been short. Concise. All right. It was fine.
It was fun.
I love that. I just hear the typing.
Like good.
So no. I yeah, it was fun. I'm happy to see what comes next.
It looks promising. It looks promising.
Okay, I'm just gonna move forward. So from that point, you know, she gets back to her grandmother's house, and you find out that nobody's in the house, and she kind of sneaks in, and she uses freaking dental floss to freaking stitch herself back up. I knew it was a bad idea, but she did anyway. And then she kind of passes out, but she has a weird vision of that same exact story. And it was just really weird because they showed different threads of time throughout that. I did want to ask you guys about that, but as soon as she wakes up, somebody's kind of trying to break into the house, and you find out it's her cousin, is Biscuits. I think that's the name, right? Is it Biscuits?
I believe so, yeah.
So Biscuits is just so happy to see her, and she kind of gives him the cold shoulder, but not. Like, she kind of, gets enough information she can to be able to coordinate with him. And then she goes and makes her way to the roller skating ring. She goes to the roller skating ring. She sees the shady guy spraying some skates, and he's just being a jerk about it. And then she finds one of her cousins, and her cousin's kind of like, "What do you need?" And that's what she gives her, what she needs to be able to get stitched up. And basically from this point, the episode kind of ends. Whoa. Uh-oh. I think that's my bell. Am I supposed to stop? Am I getting dinged off? What did I do? Dang, I think I got dinged off. Sorry. From that point, after she gets stitched up, like, you get the feeling that she wants more. She wants to do more, because the guy that worked in the roller skate ring basically kind of snitched on her that the king killer is possibly here. I have some intel on it. And she goes and tells her cousin, like, "Look, I don't care about Bonnie. I don't care about your feelings. That's not my business. Kingpin had his time. Now I want to be the queen. I want to hit it where it's going to hurt them as a business. I want to send a message." And that's kind of where they kind of end the progression of the episode. But kind of rounding out two different thread points of her interaction with her family, being back in with the family, and at the same time distance herself. But then the other side of it, just thirst for vengeance after already taking out Wilson Fisk. What would you guys process on that? Y'all don't stop typing.
Okay. So the only thing that took me out of the thing was the random shoe jockey knowing he better be selling meth outside of that shoe rig to be that connected. He sprayed his shoes and he just know about the king killer. Love the title though. Love the title. Second thing is, I'm calling it now. Every character I know named Biscuit dies at the end of some story. So Biscuit ain't making it. Biscuit ain't making it. He was too jolly too, talking to a dog, being all sweet. And I love the fact that they are just who they are. They are these people. We're going to get some cultural backgrounds on them, but the whole show isn't about. I don't know how to explain it. Like, it's not pandering and talking down to anybody. There's just people, right? I even like the fact they're not even putting out her I don't want to say disability, her challenges or her uniqueness. Like, she's just who she is. The whole show doesn't have to remind us that these things happen to her. We know, and now we're here for the journey. And so I'm all for that. Did you ask for a grade? I was typing and not listening.
No. Don't listen to no. Keep.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Everybody, give your thoughts.
All right, that's what.
I like that her going back to her roots. She was just the family was like, okay, what do you need? But you're not your side of your world. It's staying over there. Don't bring it to us. I like that dynamic, and how much her cousin that she had a strong connection with is still distant, and yet you see how much just her innocence is still there, but how much of that world has already taken part of her.
Yeah, it's interesting how they're foreshadowing so much of, her cousin's gonna be put in like a weird situation where she's gonna have to do something that obviously she doesn't want to do. But I find it so intriguing how they're showing this so evidently, but it's not getting shoved down our throat. Yeah. Which at the same time, I feel this is getting cues from, which is completely opposite, but Miss Marvel, that show was all about family and all this dynamics, but they never shoved that. Like,
yeah,
Miss Marvel was like the fun, happy-go-lucky, like, life is great type of family, and this is more like how family really is type of stuff most of the time. So I find it unique how they're kind of not.
You trying to tell us something?
Like, not every day you're happy go lucky. So I find it neat how they're making you care about these characters without like giving you like a pity party or a trap story behind it. But yeah, Bump, Vanessa, you're up.
Like I said in the beginning. Thanks, Aunt. I like the family dynamic. I love the way they set it up, and I think this is more evidence of great family dynamics. Biscuits. Yeah, great family dynamics. Bronan, over to you,
family.
buddy.
It's about I have been muted. I have been. It's the producer and the creative me is right here. So it's about. Just remember, folks, it's about family.
It is the power of family.
Okay. Okay. So just so you guys know that are watching this, we were trying to keep this at a good consolidated time. We ran
25 minutes.
We ran.
Don't invite me then, because you know what I was going to do.
We ran over our time, but we want to make sure we make this very clear. We're not laughing at the show. The show is actually freaking dope. Serious. No. It's actually really freaking good.
It's good.
So what we're going to do, we're going to give you guys our closing thoughts and then our grades from A to F as far as the first episode. I'll start first. I thought this was freaking dope. You don't have to watch Hawkeye at all to get into this. And I think it's engaging enough and serious enough to be its own thing. I just hope that they continue down this Marvel Knights type of era of showing. I think it's probably one of the better Disney Plus first episodes that they've kind of done with any of their shows. So for me, this is A to A+. I actually really enjoyed it. So we'll go across the board. Vanessa, what's your thoughts and grade for this one?
I liked it. I'm intrigued. I'll keep watching. I was already invested because the main character's name is Maya Lopez, and that's my cousin's baby's name. We're a Lopez family over here. So I'm excited. I like it. I think I'm gonna give it a B+ because I think it's been I don't like seeing Jeremy Renner's face. So
dang, he does have an odd face, doesn't he?
It's just a weird face. He's just like cool. This guy's like flipping and doing things, and he takes off his mask, and it's Jeremy Renner. Anyway, thanks,
dude. Give him a break. He almost died last year. Come on now.
Everybody almost died last year.
That has nothing.
Everybody almost died last year.
Yeah, all of that.
It's special. What the heck?
2020 happened. We almost died in 2020.
Right.
Jorge, go.
No, I think I actually think when Marvel doesn't care for their own property, they do so much better. I think that is a huge blessing, and I think Ant, you were the one who said it when they released the entire thing all at once. It just works, and I think that drives more people to it. I knew very little about this character. I saw Hawkeye. I thought it was great. You know, I enjoyed Hawkeye. I think I'm one of the few people who actually enjoyed it. But I enjoyed it. This character did kind of, like raise my eyebrow when I saw it. I didn't even know she was having her own show type of stuff. So I'm kind of stoked that we're seeing it. But no, I think I would have to give this like a solid B plus. I don't want to haul off and give it an A because I saw the first episode of Secret Invasion and I thought it was great. And then I didn't see much more after that because it kind of sucked. So I am hopeful. So that's why I'll give it a B, and just hope it just keeps getting better.
I'm gonna go A minus or B plus, and I'm glad that you brought that up because it's a good start. But I've been burned by something that I thought was gonna be unique and incredible, and that's all I'm gonna say about that show. It was a blast. I looked through the first half. Once we finished through the past and we were in the present, those 30-20 minutes went like that, and I appreciate that. I get it, and Jorge. And listen, I want to also make this clear. I'm Ronin Unchained, not Jeremy Renner, Ronin Hawkeye. I didn't kill Maya Lopez's dad. All right, so I'm not. That's not me. It's a cool costume, a cool katana, but that wasn't me.
He did that.
I am going to continue watching this show, and hopefully it stays on course. And kudos to the actors. You did a phenomenal job.
So I was going to give it like a B minus or a B, but I think that's my past trauma with Marvel going on, or Disney. So I'm just going to give it an A. I enjoyed this show. There was no part of the show where I was bored. There's no part of the show where I'm not going to. It did its job of making me want to see what's going to happen next. And Jeremy Renner does have an odd face. It's kind of like the guy that played the Green Goblin. He don't need a mask, just that face. That face, So I'm appreciating that. Willem Dafoe did not need a Green Goblin mask. He just needed that face. And you're not going to silence me anymore on this Willem Dafoe issue. Sam, he's not letting me back out in 2025.
Okay, I muted, and we're going to go and give time for people to give shout outs to where we can find your content. Ronin, where can we find you?
I'm Ronin Unchained on YouTube and Twitter and Instagram.
Oh God! Thank you so much for being here, Ronin.
Yeah,
Vanessa, where can we find more of your content?
You can find me talking shit about Jerry Renner at Vanessa Shark on everything. Instagram, Twitter. I have a website, vanessashark.com. I also write for multiverseofcolor.com. You can check out my articles. All right, I'm done.
He is so good at that. And Jorge, you can find them here on TeamJVS. And Jorge, of course, we can find more of your Also Fast reviews as well that you're adding, as well as also on your channel. But yeah, we're going to leave. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like, subscribe, hit the bell button. Bye.
Filing out the top of the I can see skyline, 50 mile radius on my timeline. Ain't nothing on me.